Hi guys, happy Sunday. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We had freezing rain this morning. My brother stopped by last night and like it was fine. It was snow. We had snow on the ground, but at 5 in the morning I took him to his truck and it was like raining and 33 degrees, and it's really rare when you see freezing rain like this, but it was literally just like an ice rink out there. And I've needed new tires on my car for a little while. Just, trying to get as much out of them as I can. Lazy more than anything. It's one of those things that I just haven't done yet. And my car is all-wheel drive, so I haven't really worried about it too much. But the braking power makes a difference when you when you don't have, better tires. Anyway, the quality of the tires that I had probably wouldn't have made a whole lot of difference this morning because it was bad. I haven't seen it that bad in a long time. That being said, so I just, my brother was talking about something, and he sent me a video of this guy talking about, unplugging from the matrix. And that's an interesting concept. And so I kind of really wanted to talk about that a little bit and then talk about pain points in the body. Because that's really what the matrix is. Everything that makes up every matrix where there's a separation of energy and information is a pain point in the body. Every blockage in a state of awareness is a pain point in the body. And so to heal the body, you're always breaking through pain points. So how many pain points are there? An infinite number. Because the journey is an infinite process of moving through pain points. So when somebody says that they've unplugged from the matrix, have they? I don't think so. If you've unplugged from the matrix of energy and information, then you are no longer corporate, right? You are the one consciousness, right? You're not manifested as any kind of separate thing from that. So there's an infinite number of levels of unplugging from lower ways of thinking all the way up to higher ways of thinking. For example, belief is a major part of how we control this reality, and we don't realize that the things that we believe that's what manifests in this reality. It's getting over that one and maybe understanding that is what some people mean by unplugging from the matrix, right? Because we are co-creating this reality. But if I'm trying to create something that's in conflict with you and it isn't for your highest good, then I might be beating my head against a wall, right? For example, I could try and force it, right? I could try and create something that's not for your highest good, but eventually I'll get a blowback and I'll run through cycles. So the best way to sit in the middle of the Wheel of Fortune is to just continue to break down the pain points in your own body and expand your own awareness. And then that enables you to break down the pain points in everybody else. Something that I realized, a lot of the teachings of Jesus have always resonated with me. And regardless of whether or not he actually lived at that time or not, there's some arguments about that, because there's a lot of legends surrounding that. But the character of the first son shows up cyclic in history. You've got the Egyptian stories that mimic the exact same story, because it's always the same story, right? There's always the son of pride, and then the son of God, and the son of pride. Son of pride is always trying to lift himself up and trying to get the whole world to worship him, where the son of God is like, no, right? And so in some ways, they've kind of flipped that in the Bible, where they've tried to make it look like, oh, Jesus wanted you to worship him. It's like, no, that's not what he was saying. I know that maybe this might disagree with some of you, but if you really read what he was trying to say, He was trying to empower the people around him. I mean, he did say that you will do greater things than I, because I go back to the Father. Trying to teach you that, what you believe is what is real for you. If I believe that I'm going to get sick if I go to Africa, then I'll probably get sick. If I believe that I won't get sick, then I probably won't. I've understood that a lot in my own life, and for me, I've struggled in many different ways, right? The struggles that we go through, though, always give us more profound insight as to how we function and how we grow. And so there's an extreme of opposites, and you don't get to become a mystical healer that can to break through almost all the pain points in the body until you've done that for yourself. And when you've done that for yourself, then you can become a conduit for other people to do that, right? Because you're part of a larger body. You're breaking down pain points in the body. And it doesn't matter what those pain points are. I love talking about organization. I used to like talking about organizational development a little bit more, because organizational development is a really good example of how when you elevate somebody to a leader position, they no longer are connected with whatever work's being done. If I call myself a coach or a healer or anything, all I'm doing is breaking down pain points for other people, I'm only able to break down the pain points that I've broken down for myself, right? Understanding that if you're down on yourself, you're going to have less energy. If you're not vulnerable and don't tell people the way you feel, then that's a pain point. It's going to make you uncomfortable when you don't tell people how you feel, right? So it's easy for me to say that I love you, but a lot of times some of us have had a hard time doing that, right? I grew up in a family that really didn't talk about it at all. We did things for each other. We had a fairly quiet childhood, but we didn't. Showing emotions often were just not done, right? It was either anger or peace, right? It wasn't a lot of nurturing. And so it has a tendency to rebound itself and create a situation where you try to over nurture each other in different ways, and trying to show that you care in other ways that are less valuable than just being able to open up and just tell somebody how much you care about them. Because that's you're leaving pain points in the body when you can do that and sit and tell somebody, hey, look, it doesn't matter what you did in the past or how you treated me or what you did. I love you. Whatever you have to, whatever it is, whatever lessons you feel like you need to learn are fine, right? I love you. Just that simple, and the way you say it means a lot. If I just say, hey, I love you, and then pass that, and then just walk away, it has a lot less effect than saying, you know what, it doesn't matter what you do or not do. I've been through every kind of living hell you can imagine. There's nothing that you can do that will ever keep me from loving you. And that means a lot when somebody can say that to you. And I think I could say that to almost every person in my life. I've never met anybody that I knew wasn't just going through something internally, because that's the only limit that anybody has on their ability to love one another. And so when you see the world like that, when everybody's just trying to break down their own pain points, it will help you. It's impossible to hold a grudge against anybody. Guilt, all that stuff just goes bye-bye. And that's all it is, right? You're breaking through your own set of awarenesses and realizing that that's all this reality is just being able to break down pain points in the body so that we all grow closer. And how we decide to do that is how we maybe we can create better systems to do that. For one thing, I talk about money a lot, but obviously money's not the best system for breaking down pain points in the body. For one thing, if If somebody asks me to do something for them, and then I tell them, well, I can't do that unless you give me this, then I've just created a pain point in the body. That's why the words "ask and you shall receive" are so profound, because if you treat people that way, then that's how you'll be treated. It's a universal law, right? It's how this all works. And if you see the world as thieves, then you yourself will become a thief, because you're always projecting the way that you feel and who you are to the world around you. You have to learn to see the beauty in the people around you. The story of Job is very profound there, because Job, his story was he was so hard on himself, but he never pointed the finger at anybody else. And when he could finally let that stuff go, then Job ended up having a wonderful family and had a beautiful life, right? So, and I think that's Moses' story. There's some questions as to whether or not Moses wrote the book of Job, and I think he did. When you look at Moses' story and then the story of the book of Job, that was Moses' metaphor for his own life. Somebody that was just trying to break down pain points in the body, and then he found out, I have the power to free these people. Let my people go. And then you become the hand of God, because you're no longer limited by what people might think of you, right? I mean, Moses, that's part of the problem of being elevated to that leader position, though, when you say, I don't care what you think, this is what needs to happen, right? This is what we're doing. If you have a problem with it, speak to that guy, because he's not good. You're not fighting me. It's got nothing to do with me. And at the same time, you can do it in a way to bring healing at the same time. It doesn't have to be all violent and plagues of locusts. I mean, do we have to go through locusts again? Maybe. I don't know. It's possible. I don't know. I will still be in a state of submission. It's like, this is my favorite way of describing this reality. It's like a Monty Python skit. It's exactly like a Monty Python skit, where you're just like, you're looking up. It's like, is this really what we're going to do now? And everyone's laughing, right? And it's like, yeah, what are you doing? Excuse me. So eliminate the pain points in your own body, and then it'll help you eliminate whatever pain points other people are going through. There's nothing else that's our only purpose in this life, right? I mean, the only reason that we grow old is because we keep adding to our own pain, and we stop interacting with each other as much to help each other eliminate the pain points in the body, expand our awareness, to be vulnerable, and tell each other how much we care about them and love them. Pretty simple message today. I think it deserves a oracle card. I like pulling oracle cards for this, right? So I felt like I want to get on here and at least tell you guys how I feel about you. That there's nothing wrong with you. All you're doing is, any of us are doing, are eliminating pain points in the body. And understanding that, we can create whatever we want to create together. Or by ourselves. Life can be free and abundant. All you have to do is believe. Oh boy. And keep doing the work. My knee. But we dropped a couple cards here, so we're going to see which cards I dropped. Strength and a new chapter. This new chapter card's interesting. You're walking through a doorway. Love you guys. I think everybody's walking through a new chapter of some kind. And so take care of what you're doing, right? There's nothing that can't be healed. Nothing. Love you guys. Have a great day.